Would you walk a mile in these shoes? How about these shoes? Would you walk a mile in those shoes? Harper Lee tells us in the novel To Kill a Mockingbird, you never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view. Until you crawl around inside him and walk around in it. That's a little harsh, but that is true. Being empathetic is often confused with being sympathetic or having pity. Pity is just another way of saying common acknowledgement of someone's problem. Empathy goes far beyond pity. Empathy is far more engaging. I recently took a child psychology class. One of the books we researched was Michelle Borba's Unselfie: How Empathetic Children Succeed in All About Me World. I was really fascinated by the research and concluded that as a society we must teach our children empathy. If we fail to do this, we will fail as a society and as individuals. I know probably not all of you have children, but some of you do. I know you go to work every day, you go to class. But when you walk by someone in need, someone who is downtrodden, do you stop and help them, or do you just walk by like nothing ever happened? Borba writes, we are all humans. We all have the same feelings, the same desires, the same emotions. We all deserve to be treated that way. To teach our children empathy, we must first look in the mirror. We must have empathy in our children to preserve our society. Today, I would like to persuade you to teach your children empathy, to save our society from failure, and to promote kindness in the world. There are reasons, methods, and examples to do this. This is a choice we must make. First, let's look at reasons to practice empathy and teach our children. According to Borba, one essential truth in teaching children empathy is that empathy results in better lives for not only children themselves, but for our society as a whole. Researchers have found that empathy is an integral part in current and future success of children. Empathy promotes better critical thinking skills, and some researchers have proven that empathy promotes better math and science grades. Teaching empathy helps children in social situations such as bullying, prejudice, racism, and many other items of cruelty and humanity. Gwen Dewar from Parenting Magazine says that being empathetic is quickly becoming recognized as one of the key ingredients to children's success. Building empathy in kids makes them handle adversity better, cultivate better relationships, and makes them for healthier, happier adults. Empathy goes far beyond just seeing another's point of view. Children need to know how to respect, value other people's feelings and beliefs. Now that we know why children need to be taught empathy, let's talk about some methods, ways to teach children empathy. According to How Parents Can Teach Empathy in Their Children from the Harvard School of Education, the most important way adults can teach children empathy is by modeling it. How do we as adults model empathy to our children? Here's one example. Think about how you treat a server at a restaurant when they bring you the wrong food. Are you polite? or do you throw a fit? Think about that. Think about how you act when you're having an argument with your spouse. Are your children watching? I know they're watching. Let them hear you apologize. Help them to understand why you're frustrated, to know why you're reacting the way you did. We must be able to practice what we preach. Do not send confusing messages. Encourage children to praise and be thankful of others. Be careful, though, not to praise your children for every little thing they do. Polly Young Eisendrath, author of The Self-Esteem Trap, says that when kids expect praise for every little thing they do, it gets in the way of actually having them think about the feelings of others. They're so focused on thinking about themselves. That's exactly the opposite of empathy. Stay focused and remind them to think of others. Now that we know a few methods, let's give you a few examples of why empathy is a must. Borba says that many children see violence at home, in their neighborhoods, on the streets. This violence puts tremendous stress on children. It keeps them from focusing, it keeps their resilience low, and their emotional health is terrible. Here are some examples of what empathy consists of. Expose children to others who are different. Expose them to people with different backgrounds, different diversities, different cultures, different ethnic groups. Expose them to people with medical complications and people with special needs. Expose children to media, to news, to books, even television, movies, to teach them about hardships. Teach them about hardships in other people so they will understand how lucky they are and what it takes to help other people. Volunteering and doing public service is a great way to teach empathy. Nursing homes provide a perfect opportunity for children to practice empathy with elderly people. Community service is a wonderful place for children to learn empathy about people who are less fortunate than they are. And a great place is homeless shelters. Homeless shelters provide valuable experience for children to show empathy towards people who really need help. It is clear that empathy plays a valuable role in our society. Empathy consists of much more than just being nice to people. Ultimately, we must start with ourselves by practicing empathy and modeling it to our children. To create a society safe for our children to live in, we must teach empathy to our children. Today, I urge every one of you to think about exactly what empathy means to you. Think about the methods it takes to prepare a better generation of future adults to practice empathy. Empathy goes far beyond pity or acknowledgement. It takes reasoning to supply children with the proper tools to practice empathy. It takes adults practicing and modeling empathy and being models for children. And finally, it takes adults training our children to be empathetic to other people's needs and feelings so they can see the benefits. In conclusion, we must teach our children empathy. We should be obligated to teach our children empathy. To do so would make better lives for them and a better society for all. The author Borba writes, if we are serious about raising a kind-hearted, caring generation, then our expectations for our children must rise. Not only our children, but as a society, we must learn to be empathetic and walk in other people's shoes.